Hey, welcome in. You're listening to a remote on the Korelin Economics Report Time now. Korelin, appreciate you joining me. Big Al is down in San Francisco. Rhylin Bailie is up in Vancouver, British Columbia. Rhylin, as all of you are aware, is the vice president of a company called Southern Arc Minerals. Interest of full disclosure, I have to say one thing, and that is, remember, Southern Arc is a sponsor on our website. What does that mean? Well, that means that you can click on their banner and get any information that you want about the company. Rhylin, let's start out just a brief overview of Southern Arc Minerals.
We're a company that's domiciled in Vancouver, Canada, but all of our properties are in Indonesia. So we have 4 exploration properties down there right now. 3 of them are on the island of Sumbawa, and 2 of those are in a joint venture with Vale. So that's fantastic, obviously, to have a major as our joint venture partner there. They're funding all of the exploration expenditures through to bankable feasibility, and we are drilling on one of those properties right now. And the focus of those Sumbawa properties, all of those are really focused on looking for porphyry copper-gold mineralization. Indonesia, as you know, is exceptionally mineralized. It has some of the biggest gold and porphyry copper gold mines in the world down there. So it's a pretty great place to be exploring. It's certainly in the right address. And then our flagship properties on the island of Lombok, and that's called our West Lombok property. And that's where we've had the most aggressive exploration to date with some really great results.
Well, let's talk about those results. I mean, you've had some phenomenal, very near to surface results on the West Lombok property.
We do. It's actually a really interesting property. It's a sort of a 13-kilometer by 7-kilometer corridor of mineralization. And toward the north and the middle part of the property, we see predominantly epithermal gold mineralization, where it's literally outcropping at surface. You can walk along and pick up pieces of rock that have sometimes 50 grams per ton gold in them. And then as we get to the southern part of the property, we find that epithermal is actually overlaying on top of porphyry copper gold mineralization that's deeper. And that's so the bottom southeast corner of the property, that's where we've certainly found significant porphyry mineralization to date. So the first exploration strategy was to do the rock samples and to figure out sort of how far that mineralization stretched, and then to get in there and do the exploration to make sure that it wasn't surface enrichment. In the tropics, you can have something where you get really high grades of gold at surface, but then they don't carry on at depth. So we've been drilling now at depth, and we found that the mineralization does indeed carry on, and in many cases it gets higher grade at depth. So we've had some really good drilling so far. Right now we've kind of scaled back because we're just at the tail end of getting our forestry permit that we need to do all of the exploration we want to do there. So we've slowed down drilling right now, but we're at the tail end of getting that permit and hope be able to ramp it up again soon.
We're going to be talking about your company frequently in the future, but one thing I want to discuss right now, because it's something that I really stress. Our listeners and viewers are aware of my investment philosophy, and my investment philosophy is I don't try to kid anybody. I'm not a technician, but I'm a pretty good people person. I invest in people. The thing that impressed me about Southern Arc was the folks, the people who we spent some time chatting with. Talk about some of them, would you?
That's what drew me to the company as well. Obviously, the properties are very prospective, and you want to be working on properties that are real and have real mineralization and real potential. But if you don't have the right team helming the company, you're not going to be successful. So our CEO, John Proust, has been involved with a number of resource companies, both mining and oil and gas, with great success. And Mike Andrews is our president. He's the guy that's on site, so he spends probably 75% of his time in Indonesia. Mike is a geologist. He's worked with properties right from grassroots exploration through to taking things through to production. So very experienced, but the key thing for me was that most of his experience is in Indonesia and in those sort of Asian areas. And so he's got an incredible amount of experience in country, speaks the language, has chosen to work most of his career there. His right-hand guys, Hamish Campbell and Andrew Rowe, again, these guys have worked for Freeport, for Ivanhoe. They've worked for the majors. They've worked in Indonesia for 25, 30 years. So a very strong in-country team, and also have an incredible board of directors and advisors who also have spent the majority of their careers in Indonesia. So these guys, they know the lay of the land. They speak the language. They know what it takes to be successful to advance these properties.
Okay, there you have it. Listen, again, interest of full disclosure, Southern Arc is a sponsor on our website, point number 1. Point number 2, don't take this as investment advice, because it is not. We are simply introducing a company to you. Remember what I've said since day one, and that was a lot of days ago, but what I said since day one is you get all the information that you can about the companies that you are interested in, and then once you have your own information at hand, Make your own decision. Trust me, you'll cut your losses when you do that.
And by all means, call me as well. I always enjoy having the opportunity to talk to shareholders or people that are looking at the company.
And we provide a link on the website so that you can do that. Rhylin, thank you so much.
Thank you.